All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out as always. This is a video I've wanted to do for a little while. It's sort of like my Vynnset check-in here leading into national season. And I regret that I didn't get this out before US Nats. I apologize for that for all of my American viewers. So sorry about that. I did want to touch base about the Vynnset deck before then, but I didn't get a chance to. So one thing we do now have the luxury of doing is taking a look at the spread of heroes from US Nationals and sort of like using that to inform our prep going into national season. So Canadian Nationals, which I will be attending, is in a couple weeks. So that's why sort of my testing is really ramped up at this point. Make sure I'm comfortable with all the matchups that I think I'm going to be running into. And so I'm going to talk through my list today. Again, apologies for those of you in the US who can't really benefit from this information at this point. But I hope you can forgive me anyways. So here is the breakdown, apparently in brackets, I don't know why it says that, of the US Nationals meta. Lots of Florian, lots of Syndra, Azalea, Prism, Mario, new Gravy, good amount of Gravy decks here, 25. And I wanted to also point out, so some other, notable names. Kano, our girl Vynnset here, 23. So Vynnset definitely seeing more representation, which is awesome to see. But I also wanted to point out Verdance. So Verdance, as we know at this point, spoiler alert, has won the US National Championship. And we can probably expect to see an uptick in Verdance moving forward for those of us who have not attended our national championships yet. So the two decks I'm really keeping an eye out for are Verdance and Gravy. I do think we're going to see an uptick in Gravy as well. There was some top 8 representation and they did quite well. So Verdance and Gravy, I think those numbers are going to go up a little bit. But Florian, Syndra, Florian I think actually might get suppressed a little bit because it doesn't have a great matchup into Verdance and Gravy. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But this is sort of how I'm shaping my prep going into national season. Is like I need to be comfortable with these matchups. Florian, I kind of know my status in that matchup. I kind of know what the game plan is. I'll talk maybe a little bit about it when we take a look at the list together. Syndra, not too worried about it, honestly. Just go on the blocking plan. Same can be said about our mechanologist friends. Azalea, I kind of know that matchup. Prism, I'm familiar with that matchup. Mario, I'm comfortable in. New, I'm comfortable in. Gravy, not so comfortable. So first thing on my checklist, I'm feeling better about it. I've gotten several reps into Gravy now, and I think I understand what we need to do into Gravy. Yeah, Verdance is one big question mark for me that I really need to shore up that matchup. So we might go in on Talishar blind. I'm not going to lie, I haven't played into a Verdance in very long. I have not had the luxury of testing it here recently, so maybe that's what we'll do on Talishar. We can watch me fall on my face into a Verdance. But so with that in mind, this is the list that I'm sort of like, I've shaped and tweaked in preparation for Nationals. So I'll kind of just like, there's so many deck techs on my channel, so go back in the backlog. Go check out the most recent deck tech to see sort of my philosophy on the list. I'm not going to go over every single card at this point. I just want to highlight a couple like high level changes. I'm down to 2 Deathly Delights to make room for 2 blue Deathly Whale. I think just more Deathly Whale just smooths out the deck in terms of like rune chant generation. Having a couple extra blues also allows you to just like pitch from hand if absolutely necessary. Down to 2 Funeral Moon. I've always felt like it hasn't done enough, so just to make room for some pieces that I think we need right now, which I'll get to. So I think the more exciting thing to look at here together is the sideboard. And I will post the link to this deck in the description of the video, by the way, which I haven't been great at keeping up with the matchup guide, so I apologize. The matchup guides associated with my older deck lists are probably not really up to date. I've done my best to put some work into the matchups here, especially going into national season. This is important. So the list that I will post has like my up to today thoughts on these matchups, quite a few of them, including Verdance. This is my obviously initial thought because I don't have very much experience into them, as well as Gravy. So all of those matchups are on there. I don't have very many notes on these matchups, but at least you could see my initial thinking on like what cards we should be including. So, okay. Beyond that, like the core of the deck, there's a 49 card core main board, and then we're going to side in 11 cards, or 12 if we want to go to 61. So 2 Funeral Moon, red and yellow Malefics, nothing surprising there. Shadow Puppetry, 2 Phantom Banshee, this is all pretty standard. 2 Widespread Annihilation. So let's go look at the sideboard or inventory. 3 Beseech, 2 Envelop in Darkness, pretty standard. 2 Envelop in Darkness are only going to come in when you're using Tunic. However, this is probably my flex slot right now if we need to shore up any of our matchups. Like if I'm like, oh, I need to put this in for Verdance. I need to put this in to make sure we're good against Gravy. Envelop is probably going to be the card I'm going to look at cutting in this current iteration of the list. We're down to 6 D-Reacts. The meta has slowed down a little bit, so there's less like super aggressive. There's no like Auroras running around in the meta right now. So we don't really need like the 8 or 9 D-Reacts we were on before. I lied. I'm on 3 D-Reacts and 3 4 blocks. I just kind of treat them as one package. So we're down to that. The Haunting Renditions and the Reduced Rune Chance. I had 2 Sync Belows in recently. Those are out to make room for pieces I think we need. 2 Revels paired with 2 Tear through the Portal to give more go again. Also sort of standard. I moved the Sonata Galaxias to the sideboard. We're going to side these in if we're on more of like a setup plan or a mid-range plan. These are great. However, I'm leaving room in my deck to lean more aggressive because Vynnset, the way Vynnset operates is like if you're against a hero that is like pure aggro, you go mid-range. Okay, so then you don't go aggro. You side in the defensive package, you side in the Sonatas, you slow your game down, you give cards, and you kind of just do one big thing per turn. That's how we address aggressive decks. If you're playing into the opposite, if you're playing into like a fatigue deck or like a Guardian or somebody that really likes to block, that's when we sort of pivot our game plan and not just try and slam face every turn, but build big turns. So we need access to aggressive pieces, and we don't really want to get bogged down with our blocking pieces. So there's more room in the deck for that like aggressive potential. That said, Swarming Gloomveil is probably the most notable thing in the sideboard here. And I recently made room for Swarming Gloomveil because I think we need some help in the Gravy matchup. Gravy is a really difficult deck for us. It's not unwinnable. And maybe we'll find a matchup in Talishar in a second. So I can show you how I approach that list. But we do need like... It's not good enough to just do like big thing at face and then sending something to clear an ally. Sometimes we need to clear multiple allies. And Swarming Gloomveil with like base 3 go again does a lot to help us do that. I do think that if Gravy becomes like a huge issue, a red line leaning list with like Ravenous Rabble is pretty well positioned into the Gravy matchup. So like more red line leaning. You can go look at my previous red line list, but maybe if Gravy becomes an issue, I'll do another video on that. So beyond that, like pretty standard Ebb and Fold, Reaping Blade. Reaping Blade, I think will put in some work against Verdance. It's going to put in some work against Gravy to help clear allies, things like that. So this is where I'm at. If you're interested, please go take a look at my previous deck text, which will give you my philosophy on this, and go take a look at my gameplay videos as well. Those help, me kind of talk through my plays and my lines. But for today, I just wanted to give you a high-level overview, share with you this most recent version of the list with up-to-date matchup guides, if that's going to be helpful for you guys. I do hope it is. But yeah, while we're at it, I thought I would jump on to Talishar, see if we can find either a Gravy or a Verdance. I think those are going to be some interesting ones to take a look at right now. We did not get into the Gravy. So Gravy Verdance. Verdance is one that I really need to figure out, and I'm going to be like, I'll fall on my face. But if we pair into a Gravy here, I could help maybe... Oh, there's another Vynnset that jumped into a Verdance or a Gravy Bones there. Yeah, I could talk through my current philosophy on Gravy right now. It's not unwinnable, but it's definitely challenging. And there are a couple different things we need to do. So, nope. Again, we got to be really quick if we want to snatch a classic constructed matchup here against a Gravy, I think. A lot of people are looking to test against him, obviously. I don't know if I want to just like put my link up because I don't know what we'll pair into, but I'll sit here reloading for a while and maybe I'll cut this or maybe I'll leave it in. I don't know. I'll just ramble for a while, right? I'm pretty decent at that. How's your guys' day going? Hopefully good. Mine's doing all right. Going to be playing my league game here very shortly in an hour or so. For the league that means nothing. If you're not following that, go over to Go Again Gaming. I was going to say goagaingaming.com. That's incorrect. They're on YouTube. Go Again Gaming and follow that. It's a really, really cool initiative. Really, really cool league. I'm happy to be a part of once again. Okay. We're still reloading. Gravy, come on, please. Big money, big money. Yes. Okay. So we got a Gravy. I'm going to click my Gravy matchup. It's going to side in Reaping Blade and illegally put in Grimoire. I'm going to untick Grimoire. You can see I've just pulled out most of my defensive package, including Sonatas and the D-Reacts. And no envelops in this case. We have another use for our Tunic resource, in this case paying for Reaping Blade, which might be able to help. They're also allowing us to go first. I don't know if Gravy really wants to go second. But turn 0 here. Do we want to ping ourselves? Like, we're definitely going to play one of these Funeral Moons out. I don't know if it's... Like, I could ping myself on it to play the other one out as well. I just don't think it's absolutely necessary. So I think we'll just make a Rune Chant, end our turn, sit on this Beseechin Arsenal. It's a good blocking card as well, if necessary. Next turn, I think we're just going to do... Well... Yeah, Gravy, we don't really need to build crazy turns. We're not going to be able to reliably go wide, so I'm hoping it takes them a couple turns to like set up, get an ally, and banish. And a lot of people are learning how to play Gravy too, right? So Golden Tipple will allow them to put an ally in banish here, I think, right? Because it's a discard a yellow card. I guess they didn't have one. Or no, they did. Anka. Okay, so we'll give them Deathly Delight. They did not play a blue, though, so they can't play Anka as far as I'm concerned. It costs 2 to play out, 1 to swing for 5 is pretty good. I'm also like learning how all these allies function. So I'm going to take a look at the top of his deck. We could face Purg here, but it's way too early for that. I think we just want to do Beseech Whale based on our hand makeup here. So they're just going to pass, which is good. Arsenal card. They're probably going to play out Anka next turn. So it's good that we're building up a Tunic. Oh, maybe they're playing it this turn. I lied. Avasti. They're playing out Anka. Do they... Well, I guess they have 1 card left, so they can swing for 5. And I don't know that we have to overextend at this. I'm trying to think of like if I need to just Reaping Blade Anka. But then we're like reset. See, this is the issue with allies, right? Like if we don't take care of this, they just have a free 1 cost 5 attack weapon that they can get a ton of value for. So I'm like, if we take it, there's a Creeper's play to clear the board. But that's like, we're overextending pretty hard there. Because we need to pay for Creepers to... No, it's just not good. It's just not good. So I think we just have to leave Anka for a turn. It feels really bad. This also is Go Again. How did it... Oh, because of Avasti. Yeah. Yeah. So this is why Gravy's an issue, right? It's like, doesn't make sense for me to send 3 and 9. Well, at least, I guess 3 would go to face, but 9 at Anka feels bad. So we just have to go 3-9 at face. Hope to strip some cards or hope to drop them down in life. And just deal with Anka at a later time, hopefully when we draw into a Swarming Gloomveil or something. Because, yeah, we need Go Again, and we need Tunic Resource to reliably swing Reaping Blade. So maybe next turn, if we have like a Go Again enabler, because we will end on 2 Rune Chants, we can just Go Again, Delight, Blade into Anka. But the longer we let these allies sit on the board, the worse it's going to hurt us. Like, so it's sort of like, so far how I feel about this Gravy matchup on the Vynnset side is like it's a push and pull. When are we sending to face? When are we focusing on clearing board? And when can we kind of do a blended plan and do a little bit of both is like the ideal thing, but it's not always possible, unfortunately. So just 9, and they're going to think about it. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee while they do. Gravy's a super interesting hero, though. I've been really appreciating like learning more about this hero in Limited, because obviously we're testing a lot of Limited. Ooh, that kind of feels bad. Testing a lot of Limited in preparation for Nationals once again. So that's not terrible, but they're keeping a huge hand, so I got to assume that they're going to be able to like go too wide or set up another ally or something. They also have a big, thick deck, which is interesting. They could just be learning the list too, right? So I don't know. Don't know how experienced this Gravy is. I do think one thing that we have going for us is, excuse me, again, you can always sort of catch people off guard with Vynnset. They're not going to be really expecting or necessarily have a solid game plan into Vynnset. So that can work to our favor. I'm just looking at my hand for the first time here. Banish Call, Shadow Puppetry, Delight. I don't know if we play like both Malefics on the front or if we like do Malefic, Delight, Reaping Blade, and then play the other Malefic, because we're not going to be able to. That's the one thing about swinging Reaping Blade is we're not able to end on Rune Chants. So I think that might be what we do. Call to the Grave. So they're going to find. Whaler is a big, beefy boy, but luckily 7 is not the end of the world. So the challenge here will be to give their allies Go Again if they're looking to go wide on allies. That'll do. We've seen 2 Avasties. So looking for silver linings here at this point. I wonder if Face Purg would hurt them, but it's not an option anyways. So Avasti, next pirate ally attack is going to get Go Again, so Anka's going to have Go Again. We just have to tank it. Unfortunately, I don't want to give anything from hand. So we'll also go down to 32, not the end of the world. Don't think it's worth calling here because this is our only banished target. Could banish a Malefic, but no, it would not be good. Not be good. So we'll see. They're definitely not going to be able to play a Whaler, but they definitely have enough resources to play Rigor and attack with Rigor for another 6, which is not amazing. And then they'll end on Arsenal. Hopefully not like a blue enabler. Interesting. I don't love that. But I think we just, again, have to tank it, unfortunately. So we're going to take 6 and discard a card. Does not feel good. And we're not going to be able to clear both. I mean, we could, but I don't know. Do we clear both? This is the tricky part, right? So banish Call. I think we go. Do we save the Malefic? Since 1 extra rune chant is not the end of the world. I wonder if we go Shadow Puppetry Delight, but I just don't. Let's just clear. Is what I'm going to decide. We can ping because it's free. We don't need to call. We can call, we'll see. We can call at the end of the turn. So now we will, I'm really tempted to swing it at Gravy Bones, but no, we will refrain. Do the reasonable thing and target Anka here. We will get the Shadow Puppetry on hit, which is good. It doesn't specify it needs to hit hero, it's just on hit. So we will get to take a peek at the top of our deck, and if it's a Shadow card, or a Runegate card, I should say, it'll help us out. It is not. So we will leave it on the top of our deck. We will break the chain, gain 2 health up to 27. We will play a Malefic Incantation. We use our Tunic Resource to swing into Rigor. So clear the board and hope that they have a little bit of an awkward turn. We can call, which might help. Just strip a card from their hand. Doesn't really matter the timing on this because they can't really interact with our attack anyways. So we'll see what they discard. I mean, they cannot. It doesn't really enable their plan. Like, they could just discard an ally, right? But they could always do that with Gravy's ability. I think the only... Oh, it's banished. Sorry, I forget. So they banished a Rigor. That's great for us. Why did I think call was that? Getting a phone call. It might actually be about my Gravy Bones deck. So it's from my local game store, this phone call that's coming in. And I have a Gravy Bones pre-order with them. And it didn't come in with their initial allocation. So my guess is now that the Gravy Bones deck is in. Swarming is going to be a great target for our arsenal. I'm sort of wondering whether we go... We're going to have 2 Malefic Incantations. I mean, we're definitely going to banish the Deathly Whale. I'm just wondering if we go Beseech Whale. It'll depend on what they do. So there's no point in sort of hypothesizing yet. Excuse me. They have an Oyston. They've not played a blue yet as far as I know. They're going to compass to see what's on top, which I think they should have done on my turn. But what do I... Oh, I guess it didn't matter because I didn't really swing at them. Okay, what else? But yeah, I still really need to figure out the Verdance matchup. So I need reps into Verdance for sure. That's like the one thing I'm a little concerned about for Nationals. I'm starting to feel better about the draft format in my practice. And still like feeling good on Vynnset, and I feel like I have a solid, handle on the list and the matchups that I'm probably going to encounter other than Verdance. So there's that. So they played a Loot the Hold next. Oh, this is the one with the on hit discard a card if they do create a gold. We don't really want to discard any of this, but if I was, bullet to my head, probably have to discard the Beseech. This is 1 attack, one defense power, whatever it's called, 1 life. And that's very frustrating. So Flail, Flail's great for Rigor and Oyston, but Reaping Blade really allows us to deal with those larger allies without having to send one of our big attacks at them, which I think is pretty important. But you could definitely test Flail in this matchup. I started in this matchup on Flail. They have to keep so many cards to play out Whaler, right? 2 blues to play it out and then 2 blues the next turn to swing it. Whaler doesn't seem that good to me. But I guess it's a fatigue thing, end game situation, right? They're definitely capable of fatiguing with the 60-some card pile that they presented. Okay, so Oyston is going to come in and threaten a discard on hit, so we might as well... We might as well give them Swarming, which feels bad. But it is what it is. Or do we just let it hit? I don't know. Because... Wait, why are you now swinging Command and Conquer? You changed your mind, I guess? That's fine. But did they... I'm confused as to what happened there. Maybe they didn't realize that I rewound, or I guess they just changed their mind. I don't know. Okay, I don't mind breaking Quillhand here. I wonder if we go Malefic, Swarming, or if we go Swarming, Beseech, Whale, or maybe we don't even... Actually, I'm not even going to mess with the Swarming. I'm going to keep it for when we need it. No, but we do have Oisin. So I'm going to undo once again. I'm going to go Swarming at Oisin. It'll gain go. It'll be actually 4 go again. Then I wonder when this hits a hero. Okay, so it does specifically have to for all modes. I was just curious about all modes. So all modes, it has to hit a hero in order to do the unpreventable arcane thing. So now we're going to break the chain. We're going to break Quillhand, which I don't mind doing when it's a whale that's going to guarantee make us a bunch of rune chants on the back end. So we're going to play out Beseech now, taking the damage to Vynnset, and we'll end on 3 rune chants. So this is for 3 and 7 at face, 10 at face, and we'll end on 3 rune chants. Is pretty good. Okay, so 7, see what they want to do. We are like keeping life parity, so we're doing a good job sort of managing their board so far while presenting stuff to face, which is sort of where we want to be, I think, because yeah, they're going to do that. They don't know what's on top, so they're definitely not utilizing their... So reveals throw caution after throw caution. So they're going to prevent 3, take 4 down to 21. They're not using their compass appropriately, though, but again, everybody's sort of like, it's a brand new set, brand new heroes, everybody's sort of learning this hero. So I also don't think like Talishar is a great litmus test for this matchup right now. However, it's all we've got. And it'll still help us sort of like understand what needs to be done. It is not an easy matchup, though. I think Gravy's going to be a problem for us. Like, there's no question about that. So, yeah, it might come down to, like, we really got to... If Gravy represents a huge section of the meta and is a very, very challenging matchup, which I think we can check both of those boxes, that's my guess, then we might have to, like, make some significant changes to the deck and lean it more red line. So, like, Ravenous Rabble. Maybe I'll show you my my current initial thought about what the red line build might look like in response to more Gravy representation. I didn't really talk about this hand, but we're just going to be banishing Annihilation, sending Annihilation to face. We're going to have to deal with this Oisin being out, but that's okay. We have these extra cards, which are awkward. Limpet. Sure. Throw some more allies out there. Annihilation's like pretty threatening, so I don't mind this so much. We are still once again going to end on 2 rune chants. I might put this Widespread Ruin in Arsenal. We're going to have Tunic online again, so we can start looking at like a Reaping Blade play. This game I've been thinking that like Flail would have been as good as Reaping Blade here, because most of the allies that they've gotten out here have been 1 power allies. We can't see these, but there was one. There was a Rigor Mortis. There's another 1 power Oyston, and there was a 3 power. Was there not? I think so. But anyways, So they took the rune chance, which means they're going to lose a card from hand. Oh, they don't have AB. I didn't identify that. That's something we should probably keep an eye on. They don't have AB, which helps us. So maybe that means we need to slow the game down, though. But I don't know. Just playing the cards that are dealt to me. Okay. Waiting on their response. Drinking some coffee. They're taking 6 down to 11. Like, the Gravy Bones lines are really hard to see. And so sometimes in draft, I feel the same thing. Like, I'll just keep my hand. I'll figure out the line later. They are banishing a chum, which I'm very happy about. Maybe they have a handful of allies. That might be the case, too. Okay, on the next turn, we can go 2 wide, banish Phantom Banshee, tear through the Phantom Banshee, and then pitch a yellow for the Widespread Ruin. So we can give up one of these yellows. We can go 3 wide as well. If we keep our whole hand. Because we could go open with Ruin. Creepers pitching the other yellow. Tear through the Banshee that we banished previously. Nope, we need the Rune Chance. Does not work. So tear through Banshee. We could also give up the 2 yellows and go tear through Banshee. Creepers into one of their allies. I think at one point you can also, like, that's the one thing I don't know as well into Gravy is, like, at some point you can sort of just start ignoring the allies and sending attacks to face, and we might be at that point here when they're at 11. They're not wanting to block. They're seemingly drawing into too many allies, and they're not running any AB. So no matter what we do, like next turn we're going to threaten. They're going to go down to 6 guaranteed, and we're going to send 2 attacks at their face that are either 6 or greater. So I think we just give up, or maybe we just let this one through since there's no on hit, and then just see what they follow it up with. So I think we're definitely going to, we're definitely fine giving up one of the yellows. We're also just going to take this and see what else they got. That's fine. They revealed a red. That's really unfortunate. Murderous Rabble is really interesting. It's like a reverse Ravenous Rabble, right? So now they can play Anka out. Ooh, they can swing Anka too, can't they? Yeah, they can. It's a pretty good turn. Pretty good turn, but I don't know. I'm not that concerned at this point. Let's take another 2 down to 12. Those are famous last words, by the way. Not that concerned at this point. They need to, if they hold 1 card, they can go they can do a 1-card 7. So maybe we need to clear Anka. Maybe we should have kept our hand. No, it didn't. It wouldn't have worked. So the choice is, I mean, no matter what, we're going to do that, and we're just going to tear through the Phantom Banshee, right? I think that's the start either way. We don't need to take the damage on this one. Well, Phantom Banshee face for sure. We'll see what they do in terms of blocks. And then we're either going to go 2 and 6 to face if they take too much damage here and they don't want to block, or we're just going to clean up the Anka with Reaping Blade. Then we're reset on it. Yeah, it's really going to depend on what they do here. They have 1 block on equipment. We are presenting 2 Arcane that hopefully they don't ignore. Again, the base of their turn is like 1 yellow is going to be able to Yellow or a blue. We'll go Limpet Anka. So we're going to take one. Are we at the point where we just need to, like, if we clear Anka, they're still going to go 1, 2, and 3, right? I think I'm just going to send this to face. I may be getting a little greedy here, but they're going to go to 5, and they're going to have to give us another card. Which means they're just going to go, they're going to go 2 and 5, which is fine. Yeah. So they go to 3. If we draw Deadwood Dirt, or, yeah, Deadwood Dirge, right? Why can't I think of that name right now? If we draw a Dirge, they're just dead. But yeah, Limpet, Anka, so we have a Dirge. So Banish Call, we can give them, we can just give them, we can give them Face Perk. It's not going to do anything though. We can block Limpet. They just die because they didn't bring AB, right? It's a little unfortunate, but discard a card to what? No, okay. They were trying to, they gotta let it resolve, and then gold baited hook. That's fine. We don't have any gold. Beginning of your end phase, feeling crane is destroy this. Why are you activating that? It's weird. So we're gonna get face perk. It wouldn't matter anyways, so we're just preventing damage here. I think we just send it at Anka, right? Because they're gonna just die to Arcane. Dirge. I guess they could have life gain, but we'll see. We're gonna, oops, sorry. We need to activate Tunic first to get the resource. Then we can Reaping Blade at, might as well just clear Anka in case they're not fully dead, but I think they're just dead to the disrespect of no AB. So, again, what's up? They might have a response. Good game. So, okay, last thoughts. I do think Gravy's quite a difficult matchup. I don't think Talishar is a great litmus test for us right now because everybody's just learning how this deck works, right? So keep that in mind. I do think Gravy is not unwinnable, but it's going to be a very challenging matchup for us for sure. It's going to just have us think on a different axis and set up our turns and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. We got to really think about when we need to clear allies, when we need to go to face, and have tools, I think, at our disposal to be able to help clear allies like Swarming Gloomveil, and maybe, if I can pull up Fabrary really quickly here. Too many decks. Big Red Sauce Vinny. This was my initial thinking. You know, needs some tweaking for a red line list, sort of like the Gravy Killer. Again, like it functions pretty similarly. Some differences. It's running Bounding Demagon, so 0 for 4 Chain Ender. Again, can help with those like 4 powered allies. We're on 0 blues, so just reds and yellows. In the whales, we're running mostly 3 ofs. The Runegate cards, including Phantom Banshee. No, we are running Widespread Destruction in the sideboard. No Widespread Annihilations. Reaping Blade once again. We can do the Tunic Reaping Blade game plan. And this time we not only run Swarming Gloomveil on the main board, but we also have access to Ravenous Rabble, a 0 for 4, often 0 for 3 at worst in the sideboard. I took out Pumpkin. I thought it was too cute. Mavrian Skies is another really good piece to respond to Gravy with, because Mavrian Skies, if you hit, you go Mavrian Skies, send your rune-gated attack or even Swarming Gloomveil or whatever at an ally. That on hit will make you 3 rune chance, which can open up your banish zone for a follow-up attack. So If we look at the gravy matchup, you'll see that all of those things are in. So we have Sonata Galaxy as well, but Swarming Gloomvale's in, Ravenous Rabble's in, and all that's out are like our defensive pieces, Funeral Rooming because it's too slow, doesn't do enough, and Widespread Destruction. There's an argument for Widespread Destruction, but the more you dilute this deck, right now there are 9 yellows, so 9 whiffs, and they're not even really whiffs for Ravenous Rabble, because even if it's coming in for 0-3 go again, it's probably enough to clear an ally. So anyways, this video sort of turned into like my philosophies on the Gravy Bones matchup, which are not like finalized by any means, my initial thoughts or my initial thinking on the Gravy Bones matchup. But I do think this mid-range list is more of an all-arounder. However, I will be keeping my eye on the meta and keeping this red line list in my back pocket. So if you're interested, I don't think the matchup guide is quite as complete. It's definitely not for the red line list, but I will update. I'll add this to the description of the video as well, so you can take a look for yourself. So that's where I'm at right now. I want to wish you guys best of luck in your own prep if you are prepping for your nationals. If you already had your nationals, if you're from the US, again, apologies this didn't come out sooner. Good on you if you brought Vynnset. I hopefully you had fun, and hopefully it went well regardless of the deck you brought. But yeah, as always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.